We're up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I have coffee. It is no longer minus 40. This is a really fabulous state of events. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to jump on the stream here, and I was thinking maybe we do some world building today. In the meantime, coffee is our friend. That is always such a good thing. I've been working on the prismatic lantern. It's kind of going to be the hub of Silvercrest, which is the settlement that I'm developing for the future. And prismatic lantern is, of course, the tavern / brothel, so kind of feel like that's going to be one of the major heartbeats of the settlement. There's my Laura. Good morning, Laura. How are you? Isn't it nice that it's no longer 45 below? Oh my goodness, he seems to have a better sniffles. Sorry, friend. So last session, when we were building on the prismatic lantern, we ended up developing the character of Ferris Willow, who's a bard. And that led us into a discussion of potential drug trade that's going on inside of Silvercrest. And that has been an interesting thing to contemplate. So we can continue to kind of add to Ferris as we work on the prismatic lantern as well. There's a few other NPCs that I'd like to flesh out a bit more for in this space. And I've got some little maps started of just basic floor plan stuff here, so that I kind of have that worked out. I've been thinking a lot about the aesthetics of Silvercrest and really like what you can build in 20 years, particularly if you have magically augmented architecture. I'm picturing kind of long, low. Good morning, my Michael. I'm picturing kind of, my volume is very low. Why is my volume low? Oh, I bet you I know why. Good catch, Laura. Turn these the right way around. Here, is this better? Hi, my Gary. I'd forgotten that I had my headphones plugged in and had them sitting off to the side. So, of course, that's not helpful. Too funny. Sorry, friends. One day I will have my act together. Today is not that day. Michael, if you were here for the beer, I'm afraid I can't help. I've only got coffee. All right, glad it's much better. So as I was saying, I'll kind of rehash that. Working on the prismatic lantern, we were talking about Ferris Willow last time. There's a couple other NPCs that I'd like to flesh out. And I've been thinking a lot about like what kind of aesthetics I want to have in this space. And I'm thinking kind of like, what could you build in 20 years of settlement in a frontier kind of area when you have magically augmented architecture? I'm kind of picturing something right now that looks a little bit like Skyrim's Whiterun. Sorry, Michael's asking me, halfling or human or half-elf? For Ferris, I think we decided he was halfling height but human. Yes, that's what I have in the notes. Given that Caius is predominantly a human settlement, they haven't encountered too many non-human situations yet. So I kind of want like this area of Silvercrest and up in Freya to be like one of the first real interactions that they start having with non-human races. A short human, yeah. Yep. 4'9". Sure. I like that. 4'9". I'm just gonna text Steph here really quick and see if she's coming on today. Oh, come on, camera. Focus. There we go. You can do it. All right, so let's deal kind of with the aesthetics of this space a little bit more to kind of get us warmed up and going. So I was thinking of kind of the vibe of Whiterun and Skyrim. With kind of the heavy thatch roofs. I guess it wouldn't be thatch now, would it? Kind of wood shingle. I imagine most of it's going to be wood because that's what's in abundance. So heavy wood shingle. There's probably a little bit of moss from the summer season. Moss and lichen. On roof and buildings. I'm picturing low eaves and ornate. What is that thing called? Braces, supports, cross beams, joists? With motifs of compass roses, masks, and decorative scroll work. I think if there are columns, then they should be decorated in a way that kind of expresses narrative storylines about different things in Kayan culture. Expressions of maybe like gods or founding myths, even maybe like the myths, not the myths, but like the storyline of the settlement. I'm thinking a little bit tangentially about like Samoan tattoos and how each of them are lines that dictate types of history as long as you know how to read them. So maybe the columns play partially that kind of role in the settlement. I was watching something the other day, that basically was saying like your world building is just for you. It's not really for your players. I think it was a WebDM episode on player engagement, or maybe it was a Matt Colville episode on player engagement. Now I can't remember. I've watched a few of both of those in the last little while. And it does make me think that maybe I get too niddly with this stuff, but I'm having fun with it, so I figure that's the point. Think Western frontier, Roman aesthetic, and Maori imagery. Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe I want to go for. I think you're absolutely right, Michael. Was it Matt Colville? Yeah, that makes sense. His hair has gotten so long. Okay, history records documenting events for specific buildings. And the outpost in general. One of the things that I realized I didn't have on my initial settlement map was a chapel. I've put one in, but I definitely need to deal with the NPC situation around having some kind of structure with that. I don't know if it's like an unsupervised chapel and you just go and do your own thing, or if there's actually like led masses, or I haven't thought that far into what religious life looks like in the Kayan Empire, and I should, because it's a pretty big counterpoint to the Majocracy. So I need a page to remind myself of things to do. The Miak builders would have helped make this place. It is also the oldest building in the settlement. And the Kayan priest is a warlock. Yeah, I think we do have a priest in play. I've been thinking that the Kayan priesthood is pretty strongly patriarchal. Kind of in going with the whole Roman sort of aesthetic. Roman women didn't even have their own names. They were named after their fathers and then after their husbands. So I think that I want to preserve that to some extent. I think they have more autonomy within the state in terms of like their individual abilities to accomplish things and have agency, but I think that it's still a very patriarchal society. There's my Stephanie. Hey, Steph. How you doing this morning? My cats have serious zoomies right now, jumping from stool to table to shelf to crash. Oh no, I hope they're not wrecking anything. You're doing? Okay, well, I love you. Keep doing. Do you have coffee? Because it's no longer minus 40 bajillion. My car will start. I can bring you coffee if you need me to bring you coffee. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this chapel. Oldest building in the settlement. The Umiak helped build it, or it was built on an Umiak site? If I come get you, then you're coming home with me. Should I do that? That sounds like something you want. Not the chapel, the inn. Oh, the inn is the oldest place. Sure, that makes way more sense. Prismatic lantern, come here. Makes sense because you could stay here before start bringing in special skill staff and stuff. Oldest building in the settlement. I want to say that there is like carvings on the inside of the walls. Not like we are here kind of carvings, but like decorative motifs that sometimes it's something that you do to pass the time in the long winter evenings. So the inside of the lantern is very ornate. The chapel is so kind and recent. The church only invests in a sure thing. But also magic. What do you mean by also magic? It's a very bold statement. I do agree that it's a super kind. Okay, so let's say the chapel, because it's the most recent thing on the page, is the most recent building. Okay. Most recent. I feel like it has amenities in it for the comfort of the clergy that don't necessarily exist in the rest of the camp. Things like private bathing with its own hot water. Like there's just a level of luxury associated with it. Heavily magic. Most physical and magical upkeep required. Has luxuries built into it for comfort and privacy of the clergy. Most private building in settlement, enchanted with silent spells, on windows and door frames, etc. So just talking about the interactions between the magic users of this camp and the clergy, are the magic users expected to do any of the upkeep of this space, or is that clergy magic only? It seems to me it'd probably be clergy magic only. But then again, the clergy might want to get their hands dirty doing basic magic stuff. I got to think more about the attitudes of the actual clergy because I don't have that sorted out right now. If this place has a magical budget, the clergy uses up 50%. Okay, I like that. That has some interesting potential to create tension and short changes of magical budget. So there are mage chores that Silly and George are expected to perform for the clergy. This structure. I'm going to say that the governess, what was her name again? Sanda. Governor Sanda has no ability to perform clerical support magic. Just to keep that delineation of duties specific. She can do the administrative stuff, like the mage sealing of documents, the magical copying of documents, but she can't do anything to do with the church. Which makes sense, because she would have been sent out ahead of the church having requirements for an outpost out here. So that works for me. The clergy have a bunch of silent servitors and an order of monks that work only for the church, the Silent Sisters. Interesting, patriarchal religion with an order of sisters. I mean, it makes sense. They're going to be there somewhere. How many clergy folk do we have hanging out in this space? I don't know that yet. Do we want to pick a number or do we want to roll for it? Steph, what do you think? Coffee. Roll? Okay. Rolling what? D12? I don't think I want to go much higher than 12 as a possibility, just given the population density of the fort. 10. All right. That's a pretty high density, but I don't think that's totally unreasonable. Stephanie picked a 10 too, so all right, we're good. Confirmed. There are 10 clergy folk. 1 upper servitor, highest ranking. 4 acolytes. Upper servitor is male, the 4 acolytes are male, and then there's 5 of the silent sisters who are female. A priest, 2 adepts, and 7 sisters. Yeah, that works. Make them zombies. Literal or metaphorical? Because we don't have any shambling undead that are out in the open right now. I feel like that would be a splinter cult if we suddenly had shambling undead that are specific to Silvercrest. Oh, now I just have this like spinning thing where anybody who gets lost in the woods, their bodies get found due to a magical talisman and they get resurrected as zombies and come back and continue to serve their fort in the undeath. And that just is awesome, but not what I'm going for right now. Hoodoo zombies. What do you mean, Michael? I am unfamiliar. Oh, yes. I'm with you now. Okay, so let's change this. 1 upper servitor, 2 acolytes. 7 silent sisters. These are... I think that is part of the notebook that got thrown out. I don't know that I have those notes anymore. Trance-like zombies. Yeah, exactly. Laura, you got it. Nailed it in one. Okay. Yeah, the notebook. I am sure I threw one out. And that at the time it probably seemed like a good idea, and in hindsight it really wasn't. So, but that is the nature of any time I get rid of paper, I swear. Okay. So let's draw a little building. Dot paper is just absolutely amazing when it comes to doing game notebooks. I am such a fan. Main doors are over here. That'll be the chapel. I don't know what we need in there yet, but we need some chambers in here. I'll have to revisit this when I'm feeling a little bit more thoughtful. That's okay. Dieter, hey, how are you? Thanks for coming to hang out. It's really nice to see you. I'm doing a clean and organize of my desk. I'm doing a massive declutter. Wow, that sounds productive, Laura. A vestibule and haven and tabernacle. You're right, it does sound like the beginning of a bad joke. Well, the vestibule will be outside of the building. We will put that here. We're going to say that this way is north because the Cayens are really big, but north. I'm going to use a cutlery organizer for my pencil crayons, brushes, and clay tools. Oh, you're at home. I thought you were at work. That makes more sense now. I also started working. I'm currently at work, but it's an ongoing process when I get home. Aha! I understand. Cross-stitch bookmarks for your nieces and nephews. Cool. Literally, yeah, me too, man. Me too. Yeah, I agree. The silent sister cell should be no bigger than a closet. So weird to me when you write the word cell in handwriting, it's just all loops, and yet we understand it as a word. All right, good enough to be getting on with. Yeah. Portraits of Caius everywhere. In each room and above the altar in the chapel. The building is magically heated. Has fireplaces for backup. No fireplaces? All right. Magical lights. Spending the money. Do. So I would say if this place is magically heated, it is the warmest place consistently in the settlement. And that makes it popular even with people who aren't necessarily in a religious fervor. So there is a lot of attendance and there's a lot of paying attention. I picture Kayan society as fairly religiously adherent, um, but it's more the cult of the emperor, the religion of the state. Um, and it's so homogenous that people don't think to question it because they're everyone around you is doing the same thing too. Why would you stress about this? They feed people once a day. There is a kitchen. Magically created food. More magic. Okay, but let's say it's breakfast or lunch. I'm going to say breakfast because it's the start of the day. Feed people breakfast each day. So there's breakfast and mass, even if it's just a short mass. Magically created food. Emperor's love. Symbolism. Gotta go, Steph. All right. Take care of yourself. Let me know how the rest of your day goes. I want there to be something kind of magical about butter that is associated with this. That because they maintain the perfect temperature, they can churn butter or something like that. Oh, cracking of the back. Um, but I don't know why I want that, so I'm just gonna make a note and leave it in the margin. Butter? Question mark. Just thinking like such heavily caloric and nourishing food in the face of all of that cold seems potent somehow. There is no library or collection of books except for the servitors, which were private. Silly and George have the quote unquote lending library. Oh my goodness, please pardon me. Surprise. Butter is food for the gods. Yeah, the church documents are secret. Got a very Vatican kind of thing going on with that. Why are you yelling at me? All right. I feel like this is a good stopping point. I feel like I've kind of hit my wall. I want another coffee. And yeah, I think this is It always amazes me that I get like 1 page out of an hour's worth of work. It's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think let's wrap it up for today. Not sure if I'm live streaming tomorrow. Haven't decided yet. I do need to get started on the map for February, so that is definitely a consideration. But I'm also working to try and get this board game taken care of and off my desk so that I can kind of get back to my regular schedule because I would like that very much. I write small. You're very kind and very pretty. Thank you. I feel like it's super sloppy and scrappy, but I appreciate the compliment. All right, everybody, stay warm, stay hydrated, all of that good stuff. And I will post on Facebook if I am going to stream tomorrow. But yeah, you're welcome for the stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. And we will see you next time. It's gotten neater over the years. Thanks. Thanks for that. That's a deep cut throwback Thursday right there. All right. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.